Good morning, class. Today in second grade, we're going to be working on writing and representing three-digit numbers, and we're going to be focusing in on the place value. We'll also talk a little bit about how to make different models and representations of those numbers. First things first, what I want you to do is, when I say go, you're going to pause this video and at home, talk to someone about what you notice and remember about this and this, these two pictures, these two objects. So pause the video now and take about a minute or two to talk to someone about what you know and what you see. Alright, awesome. So here we have our place value chart. We see the 0, the letter O, the letter T, letter H. And we know from first grade that means ones, tens, and hundreds. Here at the index cards we see some units, the yellow, we see some rods, and over here in the purple we see the word written 100 flats and the pictorial representation, the symbol for flats. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit further. Up here we know that we put the numbers for the three digits in here, and we just sort of space them out and discuss them a little bit further. Let's go ahead and know and talk about what we see right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 units, 1, 2 rods. So what number might that be? Let's go ahead and practice. So we have our two place values there. We have 4 units and 2 rods. We can go ahead and say that's 24. 2 tens, 10, 20, and then 4 units, 4 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is exactly what we're going to be working on today, but instead we're going to be adding that hundreds place value right there. So let's go ahead and open up our workbooks to today's learning. Get out your workbook and we'll go straight. Alright, so as I mentioned just a second ago, we're writing three-digit numbers and we're going to be working on representing them in various ways. And remember those key words, place value blocks, place value chart, everything place value. So let's look at these blocks right here. What number is shown by these blocks and how do you know? Take a second to discuss someone at home what you notice and what you see about these blocks. And remember, I want us to be talking about units, which are the ones, rods, which are the tens, and flats, which are the hundreds. Take a few minutes and discuss with someone at home what you notice about these. Pause the video. When you're ready, come back. Alright, so let's go ahead and go from least to greatest. Let's start with the ones. So we see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go ahead and write our place value chart. And always let's put the letter at the top that represents that place value. So in the ones we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 ones. In the tens we have 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to write 3 right here in the tens, but let's talk. Does this really mean just 3? Well, no, because we count by tens in the tens place value. 10, 20, 30. So though it does say 3 here, in reality this 3 represents a value of 10, 20, 30. Same thing with the flats. How many flats do we have? How many hundreds do we have? 1, 2. So we have 2 hundreds. Now this is just 2 flats, but in reality it's not just the number 2. It has a value of 100 and 200. So if you at home talked about 237 with someone, you got it great. Let's go ahead and work a little bit further. We just did this on the page beforehand, but let's do it one more time. So how many ones do we have? How many units do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? How many tens? 1, 2, 3. How many hundreds? 1, 2. Now let's go ahead and condense, make small. Let's condense that 2 hundreds, 3 sevens. Remember, we don't read it 2 hundreds, 3 tens, 7 ones. The tens and the ones typically go together, so we would read it 2 hundreds, 37. Let's take a minute and go back to what we're learning on the paper. So get out some paper and we're going to do some work together. Once you pause this video and once you have some paper and pencils, then start this video again. Alright, now that you have paper and pencil, let's go ahead and create and represent and write some numerals, some numbers. Let's do the first one. Let's do this one together. 119. Now if we take this number and break it up to our place value, we see that the 9 ones, 110, and 100. So as simple as it sounds, all you have to do is represent that number using the place value manipulatives. So 9 ones. How many units do we need? We need 1 unit x. We need 9. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. Now the tens, how many tens do we have? We have 1. So we have 1 10 or 1 rod. Hundreds, flats, we have 100. There we go. So there our number is written in the number form, and we've represented it with place value blocks. Let's also go ahead and on the same card, we're going to represent it with pictorial representations, those symbols we talked about. So let's go ahead and start with our ones. Well, how many units do we have? We have 9. So let's go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's represent 9 units. How many rods? Just 1. And how many flats? Just 1. Remember, the flat is a square. Perfect, just like that. So clear boards, let's do one more together. Let's go ahead and do 152. So remember, let's go ahead and break it up. How many ones do we have? We've got 2. How many units? 2. How many rods? How many tens do we have? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember, these don't represent just 5, but really quantities of 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. How many flats? How many hundreds? 1. Awesome. Now let's go ahead and put the symbols to it also, just like we did beforehand. So how many units? 2 units. How many rods? 5 rods. Almost ran out of space there. How many flats? Just 1. Awesome job. Now before you start thinking this is super easy, because it is, and you should be great at this, I know you can. We're going to be working with not just using the number to start, we're going to work a little bit backwards and give you some challenge. We're going to work with the pictorial representations of the symbols and work backwards. So let's look at this. How many units? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many rods? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And how many flats? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this number right here is 587. You can work backwards and forwards with those numbers right there. Now here in a minute, what I want you to be doing is working on pages 58, 59 in your student workbook. And at home, what I want you to do is to work on these numbers right here. 148, and then this number right here. What I want you to do is create the other representations of these two numbers, take a picture, and upload it to your classroom. That is your independent work for the day.